Welkom bij Brainpickings, de podcast voor HR-professionals, leidinggevenden en ondernemers. Ik ben Leslie, founder van ZigZagHR. En met ZigZagHR dagen we jou uit om jezelf en je vakgebied heruit te vinden. Abonneer je dus zeker op dit YouTube-kanaal of volg ons op jouw favoriete podcastkanaal. Workplace well-being has never been more in focus, yet absenteeism keeps rising, costing organizations and society a great deal of money and taking a serious toll on the people behind those numbers. In a 3-part podcast series with Move to Happiness, we're making the case for AI as a game changer in well-being. In episode 1, we already uncovered key challenges, scattered initiatives, one-size-fits-all approaches, and untapped data. And we also saw how VGD is approaching well-being in a more strategic and a sustainable way. And in today's episode, we shift our gaze to the future. We explore how foresight, AI-driven innovation, and AI agents can help us predict and prevent burnout before it happens. And my guest for today is Dimitris Dimitriadis. He's calling in from somewhere in the world, and that's why we're having this podcast in English, but not in Dutch. He's a futurist, an innovation strategist, co-founder of FutureCats also, and FutureCats is a collective that helps organizations design futures worth building, and he's partnering up with Kenneth Van Daele from Move to Happiness. So join us for a forward-looking journey into the future of well-being, where AI agents might just become the game changers we've been waiting for. Welcome. Hi. Okay, Dimitri. Very happy to have you in this call. And actually, where are you at the moment?
Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm really happy that I'm here. I just landed yesterday from Buenos Aires. I'm in Greece.
Okay.
And I'm flying tomorrow morning to Antalya and then to Dublin. So
okay.
We are back to base for 24 hours. So
just for 24 hours. Okay. Well, very happy that you can make some time for us then. Can you maybe tell us a bit about your background and what led you into the field of futurism and innovation strategy?
Yes, of course. We are coming from a diverse background, and I say we because we as futurists, in many cases, people see us like mediums or peoples that they are see inside a crystal ball. This is not the case. My background, I started as a designer, human machine interface designer. I studied at London, the London School of Design, and then I did a master's in data analytics, and my PhD is on human machine interfaces and foresight. So very diverse backgrounds. From one part, design follows function and how we can interact with the real world, and then I touch data, different forecasting techniques. And coming from forecasting, I understood that we cannot predict the future, and we don't have one linear future. And I jump into foresight, that we do different scenarios in order to prepare for change. And we have uncertainty in one hand and all the things that we want to go in the other, hope in the other hand, and we move forward to create a future, because the future is not predetermined.
Okay, so we can actually make the future ourselves. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly,
yeah, okay.
exactly. The future is not predetermined. Our choices every day make our future, and we all work towards a preferable future, one that we want to make. So a lot of people believe in karma, but no, it's not predetermined. I understand that for some people is a bit complicated case, but this is why foresight is a multidisciplinary study, and we come from different approaches. We have people that come from history, from philosophy, from design, and I come from the data part. So this is why we are going to have a discussion about AI and all the things that we're going to discuss.
All right, very interesting. Now, you co-founded FutureCats, the Strategic Foresight Collective. What the mission, I think, is pretty clear. But how exactly do you help organizations prepare for the future? So you say the scenarios, but how is it in a practical way that you help them?
FutureCats started in 2017. We started as an innovation consultancy, remote first, and back then it was before it was cool, because people 2017, 2019 said, "Oh, and you don't have offices, and you work remote, and you are everywhere in the world." But this started as our own sense of how the future of work will be, and in order to bring talent in a very, very competitive space like AI and data analytics, you need to offer something. And as a small startup, we said we are going full remote, we are going project-based, and we established a very new type of working. From 2017 to now, a lot of things are changed, except from the remote. We're still remote fully, but a lot of big companies, enterprises, multinational companies trusted us with their AI approach and how they can create value from data. And we have a very different approach from the data-driven world, because we approach the whole thing in order to future-proof. And in order to future-proof an organization, you need to look to humans. So we start from humans. We start from how humans approach all these technologies. We do AI readiness assessments, workflow mapping, and a lot of technical AI stuff. But our core approach and how we started and we continue is to look at humans and remove friction from humans. Because if we as mammals, we are really keen on avoiding friction. We don't like friction. This is why all these self-help gurus say, go out of your comfort zone. This is how we are made, and AI is here as a general purpose technology to remove the friction, the trivial task that we don't want to do. And if you start from there, not from what can be automated or what is data-driven, but what feels like a burden, and you remove that, people can engage and be more happy to embrace AI and embrace new technologies.
Okay, all right, that's clear. I'm going to shift to Kenneth now into the topic of well-being. So, Kenneth, how did your collaboration with Dimitri begin, and what does your joint work actually focus on then?
Okay, thank you for the question. Basically, how we started was 7 years ago. We partnered up with Tomorrowland, and last year we got in connection with a lovely Greek lady, Marietta. She told us she told us about an inspiring, immersive mindfulness session. And the first thing I thought was, okay, another person that wants something from Tomorrowland.
There we go again.
There we go again, because every year at this time, I have a lot of friends, let's say. So, but she was very enthusiastic, and she drew me in, and I decided to go in discussion. And that's where I met Dimitris. His impressive in experience in AI was clear and immediately clear to me. So then I pitched it to Tomorrowland, and from there on we went to Athens to see what the immersive experience would look like, experience it ourselves, and then from there on we moved on, and we discussed about Move to Happiness. We talked about the business, what could we do with AI, and that's where it all started.
Okay, so that's how you got connected. So what does the joint work focus on? And it's about well-being, and what you do together?
It's around AI well-being agents. So basically we want to create an holistic ecosystem that combines evidence-based content combined with philosophical wisdom. So our primary agent will be the Wellness Wally.
The Wellness Wally.
The Wellness Wally.
Where is Wally?
And he serves as a central coordinator of all well-being initiatives and provides personalized experiences for users based on their own wearable data and their interests and preferences.
As a personal coach, something
As a personal
like
buddy,
that?
let's say.
Buddy. Yeah. Okay.
Correct. So, and what makes our approach unique is that we combine this general agent with specific trained agents. So we have the snooze, which is our sleep agent or a sleep advisor. We have the bite buddy, who gives nutrition advice. And we have the, sorry, I'm looking to the third one, the mental buddy, who is the mind master, who is the mental buddy of our users.
So it's actually a bit, you give them a name, so they're teaming up to help.
They're teaming up to help, all with their own niches and their own specialties.
Okay, all right. Now, back to you then, Dimitri. Is it possible to predict burnout and absenteeism? That actually is the key question, of course. How can those AI agents actually help? What kind of data do they rely on? How does it work?
One thing is that all these agents, they don't predict, we don't predict, we anticipate, we try to create a really personalized profile on each human that uses the app. So with all these data points, we take decision by decision by decision, and we forming by all the decisions that we do, our everyday life. So imagine we have someone that is really into biking, for example. So he's prioritized bike, he's speaking with his agent, giving extra nutritional advice, changes some of the behaviors that he does. So with all these behaviors, we have like a very internal, let's say, meter on how these behaviors touching and have an impact in your actual health if you're experiencing burnout. And on the other hand, there is also the proactive approach, because you are not doing some biking, or you're not speaking with your friends. You need to start speaking with have a communication with an agent that can give you some advice as regards mental health. And when you break this stuff to small, really simple steps, you can make it an actual action. And this is where Kenneth said about philosophy and how these core things touch our behavior, because we are our decisions. Okay, if you have one thing that we see with agents is that, for example, agents they are there and they have the consistency. Consistency is the key trait in order to change. So if you have your body there with consistency, you will change something, even if it takes more time or less time, depending on how connected you are.
Basically, we can do behavior profiling on that and see, okay, which kind of behavior has a specific person in specific days, specific times of the day, etc. And what if this falls away? Then something is happening, but what? Then the agent can go in discussion with the individual and see, okay, what happened? How does it come? How can we improve? What can we do to help you? This kind of stuff, which would you have with a coach?
So it's looking for patterns, because all the data is coming in, and then you say, "Ooh, warning sign! I have to give some advice," something like that.
And the reason that we don't say prediction and we say anticipation is that prediction is something like a very certain spot in time. So we are evolving species. So today you're feeling a bit down or a bit drowning. Tomorrow the sun is shining and you are smiling. And in 3 hours something's happening and you change your mood. So when we are speaking about all these behaviors that are touching burnout and absenteeism, we need to have like a moving window approach. So we constantly anticipate new things, and we don't say, okay, now you are 98% happy. We cannot say that. So it's better to have like a sense of and anticipate that you probably need some exercise because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patterns. And when all these are coming from data-driven platforms, wearables, and all that stuff, they are accurate because in many cases, humans don't listen to their signals. So
we don't listen to our body, huh? Never.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So and then the data comes from the wearables, the Move to Happiness platform, and then all kinds of HR data that are in the companies. And using that data, we can we have that window and see what's going on and where interventions are needed.
Exit data as well. We could use exit data as well, or absenteeism data over a couple of years, or external resources like the World Health Organization resource. So these are the kind of things that we need to combine all together to get a broad picture of the individual, but as well as the environment.
True. Yeah, it's not just about the individual. Indeed.
And then, of course, if you would like to nudge people, your communication style is very important. And that's why we are looking into some karma principles where you say, okay, every action has a reaction. And we believe that change comes from within.
Okay. Now, if I move on to the next step. So once a potential risk, let's say, is identified, how are the interventions then delivered? What could a real-world AI-informed well-being intervention, what could that look like?
One thing as regards the possible risk and worth mentioning is to mention that in Europe, we have an AI Act. So we have a law that is for all the European countries, is in power from August 2024. So gives a pyramid of risk on how we use this data. So we comply with all these directives on how we use the data. And I will speak only for Europe because this is where we have this AI Act. We are in a very compliant and safe side. So even wearable data, they are anonymized. All the things that we have inside the platform, we are using in order to find, let's say, the general signal, and then we identify the personalized in your device. So everything is data proof in order not to have too much data, but not less data in order to provide the actual value. They are all AI Act compliant, which is a very strict regulation as regards HR data. We have also GDPR compliant, we have NIS compliant, so we have a lot of compliances that all these data are coming from. So, and also, Kenneth, you can add the extra layers.
We have an extra consent layer on that. So basically, companies can have access to a full template of consents that are already available, but they can make changes depending on what they would like to add themselves. But I think the question was more about if we identify risks with the user.
Yeah, well,
both.
It's both. But you can, if you have an example, Kenneth, how an intervention.
I can give an example. Yeah. So let's say that based on heart rate variability and sleep, we can calculate your stress levels. And some wearables give already stress levels via their API. So basically, we get those stress levels. What if we see that the stress levels are increasing with an individual and increasing for a longer period? Okay, that gives us a signal. That's one score element. Then we could see some contextual data. What happened in the company? Are there some hard deadlines? in the case of VGD, you have the VAT taxes every quarter. So what happens
Very
then?
busy. Yeah.
And what after? Does that stress goes down or does it still at the same level? Yeah, that is something where you can bring data to life and give advice to managers as well on an aggregated base.
Yeah.
And this is how we see that AI could have a very good idea of what you can do with all these types of data.
Yeah. You talk about a manager, Kenneth, who can see on an aggregated basis that kind of information. I think the individual sees the data as well. So actually the individual, but sometimes when you're too far gone, I'm afraid you don't see it anymore and you need other people to
Or you know it, but
you don't listen.
Don't take action or
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that was indeed an example of what kind of risk and could be identified. The other risk is indeed privacy that Dimitri was already talking about. It's a big concern in Europe. I hear everything is taken control of, but I can imagine you get a lot of questions from the companies that you work with. How do you deal with employee consent, GDPR, data ethics? Can you give some more information about that?
Yeah, of course. So basically, we work with a lot of third parties, but they're always European or mostly European parties. And if they are not European parties, we have a data transfer impact assessment done. That's the first thing. The second thing is everything that happens on the platform has to have a consent. So for wearable data, you have to have a specific consent because it's sensitive data. So the user has to give his consent or deny it. So basically, they cannot use all the elements of the platform, of course. That's one thing. The consent structure is built up in a way that we can provide templates, but that you can, as a company, add your own DPO and get your own consents from your DPO and just fill it in. So basically, the full history is in the platform. That's one thing. And then the second thing is everything that is integrated with third parties, we use only unique identifiers. So basically, we have our own user identifier. That's something that we send to a third party, and we get from that third party a unique identifier back so that we can match it. So basically, even I have no access to the personal data of Dimitris, let's say. There are only 2 people in our company that can go to that level, and they have, of course, a strict policy that they need to handle.
Okay, so that's quite reassuring when I hear you say it like that. Okay, so maybe for a final question, looking ahead, Dimitri, how do you see the role of AI and AI agents evolving in the future, and maybe specifically in the future of well-being? Because we're just getting started with this, huh?
Exactly. We are just getting started. The future of AI agents, they are evolving really, really fast. Imagine that every day we have like a new breakthrough on how quick or how structured or the reasoning that these agents have. So when we speak about internal new capabilities, every time we finish the sentence, we say we cannot do it yet. And this yet can be like in 1 or 2 weeks. As regards the future of workplace, because humans are creatures of habit, and we are every day giving a lot of attention to these 8, 9, 10, 12 hours of work that we do. And this is our environment. And it's like 50% environment of our life. And there is no work-life balance. We have just life balance, and we need to take care of this life balance. This life balance can be really augmented by these AI agents. We can go from AI, artificial intelligence, to IA, to intelligence augmentation. So imagine every task that has some kind of cognitive load, some kind of something that is a burden, can be really not just outsourced, because people are afraid that we are going to outsource our mental health, we're going to outsource our happiness to these agents. No, imagine that you can have more capacity to do your tasks, to do your everyday stuff in life. And in order to do that, you can be augmented with AI agents. Imagine that now you have a capacity, you run on double AEA batteries, and AI agents can give you a power bank of lithium. So it's there to augment ourselves and not replace us, of course. And in a very personal sense, in terms of happiness, is there to give us a new point of view as regards the search of meaning, outsourcing cognitive load, and bring us to a certain point that we can do stuff that we are happy. Because AI agents and all the AI technology out there is not there to create poetry and design paintings, okay? Is there to give us time in order for us to write poetry and create all these paintings.
And I think it's what strikes me. I think it's a really important question. AI is not there, or AI agents are not there to outsource human beings, to replace them, but to augment them. I really like that as a final key message. I would like to give the final words, Kenneth, to you. How do you want to close this episode of your podcast?
Good question. Didn't anticipate it on that. No, for me, I think the most important thing is that I would like to inspire people to embrace the technology, to expand your knowledge about it, and work with it and trial and error. That's, for me, that's the main part. And that's the goal what I have with Move to Happiness as well, is to give people some ideas of how they can walk their road to happiness.
Yeah, what is possible and why you should try it.
And based on your personalized feeling and data.
Yeah. The future sounds really, really, really exciting. Thank you for this conversation. Thank you, Dimitri, to you as well for all the information, inspiration.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us. Oké, dan switchen we weer even terug naar het Nederlands. Voor de mensen die zeggen, waarom heb je een hele tijd in het Engels zitten praten? Uiteraard omdat onze centrale gast Dimitri van het buitenland belt, vanuit Griekenland momenteel. Dit was de derde aflevering van een heel boeiende reeks die we samen met Move to Happiness hebben gemaakt. Een beetje de kers op de taart die we vandaag hebben gegeven. De 2 andere afleveringen kan je ook nog bekijken op ons YouTube-kanaal of via jouw favoriete podcast-app. Het allerbelangrijkste, it's a great time to be in HR. Tot de volgende.